Sorry about that, folks. Welcome to a new edition of Washington Informer News, WIN TV. I'm back with you again. I'm your host, Denise Rollard Barnes, publisher of the Washington Informer. And so glad that, we are ticking the year down. I know so many of us are just can't wait to get through 2020 and into 2021 as if we are going to have a much better year. And of course, following the words of one of my favorite heroes, Reverend Jesse Jackson, who talks about keep hope alive. I am keeping hope alive in 2021. I normally come up with a rhyme, so when I do, I'll share that with you, but I probably won't do that until right after the first. So yes, this is another edition of Washington Informer News, and senior reporter Stacey Brown. We want to talk about some of the things that happened in the paper that we covered this week. And we're so excited to share with you the fact that Stacey Brown, our national reporter, wrote about the latest news in the ongoing saga of lame duck President Donald Trump, who still has not conceded. He's going to fight this, folks, till the very end. And even those who are on the same political sitting in the same political stands that he sits on, who sit on the same side of the aisle that he's on, are saying, I mean, there is nothing there. There's nothing there, Mr. President, but he refuses to give up. He's on his way to Georgia this weekend, and there's a lot of grave concern about what the president may stir up while he's down there. But I just want all of you all who know folks in Georgia, from Georgia, been to Georgia, have Georgia on your mind, make sure that at least black folks get out and vote. I think early voting may start on the 14th, I think it is. I'm not sure of the date, but it starts in about a week or so. And of course, the election itself will take place in January. So make sure that we don't sleep this one, folks, because this is an opportunity that will actually may change the makeup of the Senate, depending on how voters participate in the upcoming election. Staff reporter Sam Collins tells us about CARE classrooms that opened in November. And James Wright takes a look at Assistant Police Chief Robert Conti as a possible successor to Chief Peter Newsham as Chief of NPD. We don't know what's going to happen, but I want you all to keep your eyes open about that. And there's some great stories in this week's issue of the Washington Informer. I don't have oh, yes, I do. You all know this is this week's issue. And of course, on the front, it says support small business. Not only support small business, but we add to that support black businesses. I have been excited to go out to a couple of places we've had on the show. I was at Nubian Human on Saturday and Mahogany Books, and we'll be making my rounds because this is going to be, I don't plan to do a lot of shopping this year, but it's going to be very specific, the shopping that I do. And I try to do it all the time, but this year specifically, because we not only need to support our small businesses and support our small black-owned businesses, but spend the dollars where they count. And so we're dedicating each segment of WIN TV to some of those business owners, and I'm looking forward to the folks that we will have on this week's show. So again, pick up your copy of the Washington Informer at your nearest newsstand. If it's not there, we would love for you to give us a call and tell us where you would like to see us deliver the paper, particularly if there's a location that's open and serving the public. Just call us here at 202-561-4100. Again, that's 202-561-4100. That's if you want ink between your fingers, pages to turn copy of the Informer. Otherwise, you can get the Informer online. You can get the digital edition if you go to www.washingtoninformer.com. That's where you can get a copy of the digital edition. Of course, follow us online. And we hope that while you're there, you will decide, yes, I do want to sign up to get the Informer and other news that the Informer sends out on a daily basis to right to my email box. And so sign up. We really appreciate those who are doing that. It makes a difference to us, particularly, newspapers. My dad used to say the lifeblood of a newspaper is advertising. And so when our advertisers want to know how many people are reading the paper or how many people are visiting us online, we can give them those numbers. And we certainly do want to count you in that group. So we're so, so happy about that. If you would become a subscriber of the Washington Informer. So we're going to stop for a minute. Our very own Hamil Harris is going to give us a news clip and update on the news in the DMV.
D.C. Mayor Muriel Bowser announced this week that after 35 years, the court monitoring of the D.C. Juvenile Detention Facility is over. And in other news, Metro is facing the most severe budget cuts in history and is considering eliminating weekend service, slashing bus routes, closing 16 stations, and laying off several thousand workers. In Maryland, they're trying to hire medical professionals to deal with the COVID-19 crisis, hiring people to test, to deal with vaccinations, and also to hire people to work in nursing facilities. Meanwhile, Maryland Governor Larry Hogan is trying to explain what happened with 500,000 test kits that were defective and came from Korea. It cost the state $9.5 million, and now they're trying to make up the shortfall, some $2.5 million. And in sports, it was a big weekend as the Houston Rockets traded Russell Westbrook for John Walls. And in boxing, people were focused on Mike Tyson and Roy Jones, but the story was behind NBA star Nate Robinson getting knocked out by YouTuber Jake Paul. What is a YouTuber? Someone who's a personality on YouTube and not a boxer. Meanwhile, he's hoping to recover. No word about his next boxing opportunity. For WIN TV, I'm Hamil Harris.
Thanks, Emil. Boy, you got me laughing there about that YouTuber. And yeah, that was a hot conversation in our staff meeting yesterday, as well as so many others. But yes, we appreciate that news cap. And I also want to pose a question to those of you all who are watching. And that is, we asked some time ago if you would consider taking the coronavirus vaccine. I'm going to come back to that in a moment, but we want you to know, of course, that Christmas, Kwanzaa, and the New Year will have us celebrating virtually with family members, and there are advisories promoting the fact that, or warning people not to travel this holiday season. I know that's difficult. We saw those same warnings during the Thanksgiving holiday, and the airports were packed. And we can't say that that won't happen again this Christmas season, but there is a warning because the numbers are going up that we hunker in place this Christmas season. And so we just ask that you take heed to the warnings, that you continue to social distance, you wear your mask, you wash your hands, you do all that's necessary to make sure that you can keep you and your family safe. And you know that President-elect Biden has even offered that he's going to request that every American wear a mask during his first 100 days in office. These are the things that are going to help us to get rid of this virus, and we want to make sure that we do it soon. So for up-to-date news in our community, please register here at WashingtonInformer.com. I talked about that before. And because that's where we can send you, or you can receive your email newsletter and WIN Daily, which we send out every week. And we want you to continue following us on Facebook and at Washington Informer, and Twitter at Washington Informer. So before we go to this quick video, I just want to, on another news point, and I hope Chevry has this ready, but I want you all to look at this darling one-year-old's face that we lost a couple of nights ago. Carmelo Duncan, 1-year-old, shot in the head while his father was in the car with, I believe, another sibling. Fortunately, the father and the other child were not hurt, but Carmelo, a 1-year-old, was killed. And the community is asking everyone to please, if you know any information about this, there's a $60,000 reward for the shooter. There's a sick person out there, and I'm sure that they are need some help, and we need to help them to get some help by turning them in. I mean, that's where we have to look at this, as if we turn this person in, that person will get the help that they need, so that we don't have any other, particularly juvenile, young children who become victims to this gun violence. Ladies and gentlemen, we've got to find a way to deal with it here, and not only here, but across the country. When we say Black Lives Matter, we've got to prove it. So it helps when you turn somebody in if they can get help for the problems that they've incurred. So I just wanted to share that with you, and hope that you will continue to support MPD and the community and the parents of Carmelo to find the perpetrator. Now let's take a short look at a video. We'll be right back, and when we come back, we'll be with Dr. DeMark Hickson from Us Helping Us, People into Living Incorporated. We'll be right back.
Dear Black America, we love you. We affirm that Black lives matter. And as Black health professionals, we have a higher calling to stand for racial justice and to fight for health equity. In the spirit of unconditional love for every single Black American, we have locked arms in an initiative to place the health and safety of our community at the heart of the national conversation about COVID-19. Respect for our Black bodies and our Black lives must be a core value for those who are working to find the vaccine for this virus that has already taken so many of our loved ones. Our colleagues across healthcare know that we are urging our community to take safe and effective vaccines once available. However, for this to be successful, they must do more to earn your trust now and in the future. We are on the front lines in care delivery and in key decision-making roles, from the lab to the clinic to the virtual boardroom. We urge you to hold us accountable. Please wear your masks, continue social distancing, hand washing, and avoiding indoor events until vaccines are widely available. With the holidays around the corner, we want nothing more than to break bread with our loved ones. But tradition cannot stand in the way of our health. We also ask you to join us in participating in clinical trials and taking a vaccine once it's proven safe and effective. We know that our collective role in helping to create a vaccine that works for Black people and that we trust has an impact on our very survival. Please visit blackcoalitionagainstcovid.org/love letter to learn more about the work we are doing to keep our beloved community safe. We will keep you in our hearts while we work to create a world that is healthier and more just than the one we know today. Love, America's Black doctors and nurses.
We want to thank the Black Coalition Against COVID for sharing this video with us, which we will continue to share with you on the air. And next week, I just want to make a brief announcement, but that the coalition will be hosting a conversation to Black America, a town hall with Dr. Fauci. The first time I think that he has spoken to a predominantly Black audience about the impact of COVID on Black America. So we, if you subscribe to Washington Informer, we will make sure that you get the announcement of that event, which takes place on December the 9th. So we look forward to all of us joining that. But speaking of pandemics or epidemics or health crises, Tuesday was World AIDS Day, and Us Helping Us, an organization created 30 years ago to provide holistic health information for people living with AIDS, set up a free testing site at the Anacostia Metro Station and at the Safeway store on Alabama Avenue in Southeast. In a few minutes, we're going to be joined by Dr. Hickson of Us Helping Us but right after this short film.
You know, with the pandemic, we put as much money as we can into the community, into our providers. One of the recent grants, DC Hope grant, has been going out to all of our, many of our providers, giving people PPE supplies that may not be able to get them elsewhere. One of our providers is us helping us right here. And not only are they a Black LGBT organization, but they're also a provider. And they're also one of the grantees of the DC Hope grant. So they're seriously been giving money to help people that are suffering from both HIV and the pandemic. Those are the types of things you have to do. You really have to be targeted and intentional in your outreach.
And that's what Dr. DeMark and Hickson and the folks at Us Helping Us have been doing. I'm so glad to have you on the show. We
Thank you for having me, Denise.
couldn't let this week go by without talking to you all.
Absolutely.
And I'm sorry I couldn't make your event the other night. I know that folks had tried to reach out, and I don't want to spend too much time, but I want to thank you. I'll let you help me make this presentation to myself.
Yes, Denise, that's in recognition for all of your work here in Washington, D.C. and in the Black community, and raising the voice and concerns that impact the Black community more. So on behalf of Us Helping Us and our board of directors, we wanted to honor you and recognize you with one of our highest organizational awards, with our Founders Award. For, again, your contributions and work that you do with the community.
This is one of those, oh, okay, I'm trying to get it open. Don't want to take a lot of time doing this. And I didn't open it before because I wanted to be surprised while you were on the air. And this is a Tiffany box. And so this is really beautiful in the Tiffany color.
Yeah.
So let's see if I can get this out, or is it still wrapped again? This is good.
No, it's not.
Oh, good. Wonderful. Beautiful. Thank you. Thank you.
There's a little message on the back as well.
It does say, Us Helping Us, People into Living Founders Award, presented to Denise Rollard Barnes, December 3rd, 2020. Thank you so very much. Oh, and it's got a little door. Oh, for the battery. I was looking for whatever else Tiffany gives sells. No, but this is perfect. Yeah, that's all right. No, I'm good. This is perfect, and I like clocks. I really do. So this is wonderful. I mean, just a good old, fashioned clock. I mean, not this digital stuff. So this is wonderful. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Now let's talk about just what's been going on with the whole issue. I mean, we've been talking about COVID-19, but AIDS is still with us.
It is. And as you know, we now have an initiative, a national initiative to end the HIV epidemic by 2030. And so the COVID pandemic is much like the HIV epidemic when it started in the 80s, that folks didn't know what was happening, and began a lot of just other things and thoughts and feelings about stigma, because now we can even think about somebody who we know that may have tested positive for COVID. It's kind of like, oh, do you still have COVID? How can I get COVID? So it has that same type of feel as HIV. It's not the same because we didn't get this same type of national response. But organizations like Us Helping Us are still here on the ground doing this work day in and day out, working with clients who are living with HIV, who don't know how COVID is going to impact them, which was a lot that we saw at the very beginning of the pandemic. But as Sheila Alexander Reed said, we've now been working at the face of the intersection of both this pandemic and HIV epidemic, especially among those that are most vulnerable.
Tell me, how does Us Helping Us actually help?
So we first start. So we provide a number of clinical, behavioral, and essential support services, all at our locations, or each of our locations. So we provide mental health services. We provide sexual health screenings, which includes a comprehensive HIV and STD screenings. We provide a number of support groups from individuals living with HIV to those who are starting PrEP and still have concerns like medical concerns, and just a host of other social services. So we have a food pantry, a clothing closet. We provide limited financial assistance because we know we don't have an infinite pot of money for individuals now. As we're seeing some of these restrictions lifted, like with the evictions, we're now seeing an influx of individuals who are potentially facing housing instability. So we have our 2 office locations, and as you saw in the video, we do get into different neighborhoods that have limited access to services to really take the services to where people live.
You mentioned that there's either, I don't know, I can't recall whether you said a cure or a vaccine or what, but by 2030. I mean, it's been a while. We've had AIDS and HIV with us as a known disease for what, close to about 30, 40 years? How long has it been?
Yeah, about 40
Yeah,
years.
about 40 years. And so now you were saying about 50 years before we make any progress. How satisfied or dissatisfied are the folks there at us helping us with the progress that's being made on the science side?
Well, we are always excited for any medical advancement that is discovered, so that we can get to 0 new infections or even for a cure. So we are involved in a number of studies. I know you were mentioning earlier about the vaccine trials for COVID, but we are excited about many of the cure studies, whether it's a functional cure or a sterilizing cure. I don't want to get all in too much into the science, but it's for a cure. And we're also excited for the new science that's coming out recently, whether it's long-acting injectables, where somebody doesn't have to come in and get a prescription and take a pill every day, that it can be an injection that can last for like 30 days. So incremental steps, even incrementally in using a condom, it's just as effective as many of these biomedical medication. So we continue to add more tools to our tool belt to be able to end the epidemic. So it's just like with COVID, you can wear a mask, you can sanitize your hands, physically distance, and test regularly. Very similar to HIV. If you wear a condom during sexual activities, if you're living with HIV, take your medications. There are medications if you are not living with HIV that prevents you from getting HIV. So we have tools that will help us to end the epidemic by 2030.
And are you, following the numbers, are folks more conscious? I mean, are we doing better at preventing, HIV or and testing? How are we doing in both of those areas?
Yeah, I think we, of course, have our ebbs and flows because some people, like with many things, get kind of a fatigue, just like how we're seeing like mass fatigue for folks wearing a mask even now during the COVID pandemic. So it's just really us really staying vigilant and really staying out in the community to let people know that that neither of these viruses have gone anywhere. Like, right. So we're in the holidays and now we want to be around family, but it's being recommended not to, right? But people, again, are going to put what they want oftentimes ahead of what science and medicine is saying. So we still just have to stay vigilant, advocate, as always, for funding, additional funding. Additional funding is always helpful. And just to be creative in how we do this work in communities, because we don't live in just a COVID-19 silo. We don't just live in an HIV AIDS silo. We don't just live in a diabetes silo or an obesity silo or a hypertension silo. In all of these conditions, African Americans or Blacks lead in the number of infections. So we just have to really think holistically and comprehensively with all of our just health, like our overall health.
Well, I'm hoping, I think when we talk about 2021 and what we hope will come in the new year, that we will follow your warning and that, or your advice, and that is to really put our health first. because
Absolutely.
that's what we've been dealing with for a whole year with COVID, but then for, like you said, 40 years with HIV and AIDS. How is us helping us funded? I know we talked about the grant that you received. That's what Sheila mentioned in the video. But how are you all funded?
As nonprofits, you have to find all different diverse pools of money. We are coming right off of our annual gala last night, in which you are an awardee. So we have events like that solicit donations. So you can always go to our website and donate. Just like on Giving Tuesday, we just look for different donations from the community. Some community members, when they come in for services, they also give donations. But we're also funded through grants from the federal government, from the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention in particular, from DC Health and HOSTA. We're funded by Prince George's County Health Department. We recently we have some pending awards from other governmental agencies, from the state of Maryland, and also other parts of DC government, and other corporate foundations. So we are funded by the Greater Washington Foundation, Washington AIDS Partnership, and also other corporate companies, from pharmaceutical companies to electricity companies, because they have philanthropic arms that have initiatives around improving health. So of course, HIV is health. And so we get or procure fundings from different corporations as well.
Well, it sounds like you have a lot of sources, but I don't want folks to think that
Yeah, we
you
got
couldn't use the help of everybody. And it also is a testament to the effectiveness of the program that you all have been doing for so many years. And I want to congratulate you for that and your whole team there at Us Helping Us. In closing, are there any special messages that you're giving folks either for the holidays or for the new year that you have to share before we sign off?
Yeah, one, that we know that sex is healthy, and we want everybody to be responsible. We know that sex has been happening throughout the pandemic, because Us Helping Us, we never closed, and we were here again for all of your sexual health needs. So we were able to treat individuals who became friends with Miss Gloria, or Miss Midia, as we call them, or scientifically gonorrhea and chlamydia. So we just say that, yes, we're sex positivity. We know it happens, but there are ways to prevent the transmission of HIV and other sexually transmitted diseases. Another message is that, again, we look at holistic health. We will be, we're looking to expand our screening services, because Blacks are at highest risk for hypertension and diabetes, and not having these conditions under control, which means we're not taking our medications for those either. So just to really put our health first, because oftentimes we're going to be the only ones that are going to do that, and also advocate for good health care. And then if you do have some pocket change left from your Christmas shopping, that you can always contribute not only to the Washington Informer and getting that subscription, as well as donating to Us Helping Us, so we can continue these critical services in many underserved communities in the DMV.
Well, Dr. Hickson, thank you so very much for being with us and for sharing. I think this vital information. We're here to keep this message going,
Absolutely.
to be your echo chamber. So I know you just had surgery on that knee yesterday.
Yeah,
So take care of that.
definitely.
Get well, and look forward to talking to you again soon.
All right. Thanks so much, Denise. Thanks for having me.
My pleasure. Yeah. So, how do we transition, Chevry, from a conversation? Of course, I mean, it's serious about HIV and AIDS, and also COVID-19, but a conversation also about sex. And go now to Councilmember Robert White. There's no correlation, folks. I am not trying to make a correlation.
Well, I'm a huge fan of Us Helping Us and the work that they do. So I'm part of their fan base.
Well, that was a perfect segue, 'cause I was trying to figure out how to make it work. Congratulations to you too, Councilmember White. You are back reelected to the council for, I guess is this your second
Second term, yes.
term? Right,
Thank you.
right. Because
Yeah,
you served a shorter term and now you're back for, or I may have it all wrong, but anyway, you're back, and that's what's
I'm back.
important. And it it seemed like it was going to be a shoe-in for you, although there were 20-some folks that ran for the at-large seat. How did that feel when you saw these people?
You know, 24, I mean, for the sake of democracy, I don't mind. You know, I have a belief that if you get elected to work on behalf of the people, it's a privilege, and you never have to treat a position as yours. It is the people's position. And if they support the work that you've done, they'll put you back. So I don't mind the number of people from that standpoint, but it was hard for voters to distinguish between candidates. You can't research deeply 24 candidates. And so that was a difficulty, but we didn't take the election for granted. You know, we developed a strong strategy and worked hard to execute, because you never know until it's done. And just very happy that the voters put me back in the seat.
So you are chair of a committee which takes a little seniority, a little tiny bit of seniority, right, to become chair of a committee?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so is this your committee? I had it here. I'm sorry.
Committee on Facilities and Procurement.
Right, right.
Yes.
That doesn't sound too sexy to me. So what is that all about?
It's not sexy, but it's really in my policy bailiwick, and you know, you got to be here to do the work even when it's not sexy. So we have jurisdiction over almost all DC government public buildings and construction, but also over most government contracts. And so you're talking about jurisdiction of a committee that goes into the billions of dollars, and it really impacts families in ways that we don't think about every day. It's not sexy, but impacts us every single day. I also, though, have jurisdiction over the Office of the ANC and over Returning Citizens Affairs, and we've done a ton of work in those areas as well.
On that note, I didn't really plan to talk to you about this, but we just learned that DC jail and the complex over there is its own ANC, and that there's I guess an objective by local residents and maybe even yourself to try to make sure that seat is filled. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, so the DC jail is its own ANC. The District of Columbia broadly has invested a lot in making sure that our residents, even if they are temporarily residing in DC jail, can vote. And so it's become its own ANC, although to my knowledge, no one has ever been seated in that seat. And I spoke to some of the guys over at DC jail just a few weeks ago, and they expressed interest in making sure it gets filled. That's something that I absolutely support. The thing that I haven't been able to figure out, though, is that the ANC term is 2 years, and people should not be in DC jail for 2 years. It wasn't set up as a long-term detention facility. So there are some difficult logistical issues, but I am hoping that we can find a way to have the residents at DC jail have a vote in our or have a voice in our government.
So the new council comes, will be sworn in, a couple of new members to the council, and yourself, those that are returning in January. What can we look forward to in 2021, particularly from you and your committees in the new year?
Well, part of what I'm going to do in the new year is really understanding where we are, the difficulties that we are seeing from COVID-19, the impacts that it's having on our local businesses. I'm going to be pushing the government to do more spending with our local businesses. We have very strong CBE laws that require government contracts to either go to or be subcontracted with local companies. But we have to now go beyond the law and understand that every taxpayer dollar that we are spending, if we are not really spending it with a local company, then we are doing a disservice to the entire city, because we have an obligation to help keep those businesses afloat. But I also want to, talking about something that's not sexy, I really want to analyze, or I'm going to analyze, some of the inefficiencies we have in government, properties that we're sitting on that we don't need, spending that we're doing that we don't have to spend. because we have to reduce as much of this burden as possible on real people. And I don't want to see tax dollars go up as a way to maintain our current level of government services. So I'm doing a deep dive into our government efficiencies and making sure that they work, but also continuing to support ANCs and returning citizens in real ways. We've done a lot of work to expand and strengthen those agencies over the past 2 years, and I'm going to continue to build on that.
Well, that's great, and we're glad. So will you stay on this committee, or will you get reassigned when the council comes back with the chair and the rest of the members?
Well, only Chairman Mendelson really knows. He recommends the committee appointments, but I plan to remain chair of this committee.
Is there anything that you have seen over the past year, and you're an at-large council member, so you have a perspective of the whole city, we think, we believe,
I do.
Including, I mean, I know you're a resident of Ward 4, but, you know, there's Wards 7 and 8 that often feels sort of disenfranchised in a lot of ways. But the impact of this virus, I mean, where do you think efforts should be placed in sort of making people whole? Is it in the area of housing? Is it healthcare?
Yeah, the efforts, the gaps that exist really are the gaps that existed coming into COVID. And these are the places that we have to strengthen. So housing, when the moratorium on eviction ends, we know that there are so many people who lost their jobs or lost hours in their jobs because of COVID-19, and they won't be able to pay their rent. So we face possibly massive evictions in the city if we don't do something. With respect to education, many of our students, especially students of color, students with special needs, and those who for whom English is a second language, they are really struggling with distance learning. And I think realistically, most of our kids will not be back in the school building this school year. So we have to strengthen distance learning and the opportunity for in-person learning, but really prioritizing those at-risk children with special needs and English language learners. And those are no small feats. And so our government really, both the executive branch and the legislative branch, have to come together in a real way and create solutions there, because the people are struggling. My wife and I have 2 kids. You may have heard my youngest calling for me in the background. She's in her high chair. But I always think about the people who have less resources and less flexibility than my family has. And you know, I know how much we're struggling right now. The average family is really having a hard go of it, and the government has to do everything we can to ease that burden.
One of the reasons why there are lots of reasons why we started WIN TV, but one of them was to find another way to reach residents in the DMV, DC, Maryland, Virginia. And I'm wondering since COVID has happened and you aren't able to have these hearings, and people have always been concerned about how can we get more people to the hearings? Well, now everybody has access, because we know and I'm curious if you've observed a greater audience for the council hearings now that you are, everyone knows where to find you.
Yes.
And also, how do you solicit, and this is pretty much my last question, but how do you solicit information from constituents? What's the best way for them to communicate with you about what their needs are?
Well, in terms of communication, communicate with me in any way that works for you. Call my office. You can still get through to us, 724-8174. Email me at rwhite@dccouncil.us, or reach out to me via social media. When things are moving, it is so helpful for me to hear from residents about their perspectives, because I try my best to be around the city, especially outside of COVID, to talk to people. But I am a more informed representative and advocate if I'm hearing from residents. But I have, to the point of your question, I've been shocked at the number of people tuning in digitally to our hearings, whether it's my committee hearings or legislative meetings from the council. And we've seen the same thing with ANC meetings. There's really been an explosion of participation. So I'm excited about what this means going forward. In a representative democracy, we do better and it works better if we're hearing from people and if people are involved. So so much of the work that I've done is been around making it easier for people to engage their local government, and seeing this level of attention and participation has really been uplifting to me, and it's something that I think will absolutely carry past COVID.
Well, after it's all said and done, and we look at how many people actually view, like you said, hearings and public meetings, it's almost like, duh, why didn't we figure this out
That's
before?
right.
So, but I want to thank you so much for taking a few minutes of your time to join us and to talk about, what's going on with the At-Large Councilmember Robert White, and what we can look forward to in 2021, and to feel free to come back anytime. Because this is our way to communicate what's happening legislatively out of your
I
office.
appreciate it. Yeah,
Yeah.
I will absolutely be back. Thank you for having me.
Wonderful. All right. Well, you all have a happy holiday. I know the little ones are looking forward to somebody coming down the chimney.
That's right. But look, Santa don't pay no bills in my house, so I'm going to tell them who brought most of these presents.
I hear you. All right. Thank you so much, Councilmember White.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. So yeah, it's I think it's been a great thing, and we've seen democracy at work with some of these public hearings and ANC hearings and neighborhood hearings and meetings and all that. So we want everybody to stay engaged, and we're so glad that he was with us. Now, this is a part of the program that I really like, because we are now about to talk to some of the small businesses in the community that have also been around for a long time. And while she may not see me often, one of my favorites is Nisi's Boutique, who is here. Got on her face mask. It's so cute, and I'm going to have to go and see you really soon.
A
There
little
you are.
advertising.
Do it, do it, do it. Nisi, how are you?
Hey, greetings. I'm thankful just for today. Thank you.
So it looks like folks can actually come. You are located in Mount Rainier?
Yes, I'm located 4007 34th Street, Mount Rainier, Maryland, right off of Rhode Island Avenue. You can throw a rock, DC to Maryland.
Wonderful. Wonderful. And the question I don't like to ask is how's business? Because everybody knows that it's just been tough over this past year. We've been hit by this pandemic, doors have closed, and we all are trying to do something different to keep our doors open. So what is Nisi's Boutique doing?
Well, by the grace of God and some good angels in my corner, and so we're started from the beginning in the pandemic. We was doing a little curbside here and there, and maintaining, trying to stay in business, selling, going, I guess, just thinking and doing things to create movement. So the curbside was fun during the summer. The weather is great, and they telling us to stay outside, so that was good. And I just created it into an event. People would come and get gifts, umbrellas, bags, whatever I could do, to get a person to come to Mount Rainier and want to come and support. So the last 3 weeks, I have been working on one-on-one appointments, which only God, can't get to everybody at the same time. That sure everyone is very safe. They can call or text, or mostly text for an appointment, and they get a slot. Some people take an hour, some people take 2. And once they get in, they love it. They understand that I'm about safety and mask, and everything has to be. So outside, we do the sanitizing. We give you a sanitizer of your own. We do a little temperature check. And once you get inside the door, you have your cart to yourself. Then you will go through the whole store, and you just feel like you're just the kings and queens you are and shop one-on-one. And it's no way. So I could guarantee you 100% safe in here. So I'm selling safety one-on-one.
Makes sense. For those who aren't, I don't know who wouldn't know about Nisi's Boutique, but for those who don't know, tell us a little bit about what you carry at the boutique.
The connection just did something just now. If you could repeat that.
Sure. And I hope
hear
it's
it
not this
again.
construction. Can you hear me now?
Technology, we got to.
I know. Can
Well,
you hear me?
I sell lots of wonderful items, different. I deal with a lot of artists, small business to small business. I thank God that God gave me that taste to have things that people need and want. Because Nieces is not just a store that has stuff that you don't need. We have soap, we have lotions, we have brands, we support other small businesses. We have business we've been doing business with throughout the pandemic, helping each other, still trying. I say day by day. I'm not gonna put roses on everything. I'm telling you, it's just day by day trying to keep it working and needing my community and needing the public and needing people to want and come and text 202-320-9144 for an appointment. It could be early in the morning or late at night. I'll do whatever it takes to satisfy a customer, even during the pandemic, because sometimes we're not thinking, it is a pandemic.
We were talking earlier and I go back. Can you hear me?
It's still the little, let me adjust this. Let me see if I can be production right here, because I didn't hear that. And
I wasn't
I know
finished.
a little bit about it, I don't want you to have no airtime. So I've been here. Denise, hey.
I know that's but you have been
you
have been a trooper, and that's what I wanted folks to know. I mean, you had a wonderful clothing store for children on 7th Street on Capitol Hill. Then you went over to 8th Street on Capitol Hill. Then you went on Pennsylvania Avenue on Capitol Hill. I mean, all of us used to go there and buy clothes for our little ones. And even then, you had trials and tribulations that you kept saying, "I'm going to quit," but then, you're like, "I don't give up," and I love that about you. And so now in Mount Rainier, even with COVID, it's like my dad's song, "Ain't no stopping Niecy now," because you're gonna keep going. But what is it that keeps you inspired? Why? How do you do it?
And you know what? I don't know, and it's not me. I am the vehicle that God put here to put my vision and out there. It's the people that I just like this wonderful platform you're doing here today. Is you're able to put it out there and hopefully people will come and get it. But it's the people that's keeping me. I am here because of the people from the first day of this pandemic to now. The very first day, I did a fundraiser because I got crazy, scared, and whatever. And, some people came to my aid. I have a few angels that, just covering over me that I look to. But this is a challenge. And I'm glad we have this platform here with Informer, because I want to reach people there. I want to reach our community. I want to reach everybody. I want people to understand that, yes, we're here and we need you. And people say we in this together. Sometimes when I hear that, I'm like, oh, I want to really feel that and know that you mean that we're in here together, because it's hard. A lot of businesses are closing, going out, and it's not me. It's the people. If people keep coming where I can keep the bills paid or something, because everybody is asking for their money right now. And we're not talking about the truth. All these businesses, all the mortgage companies, all the things, oh, we're going to help you. All that was not real. Let's talk real. Because if it was real, why is it now that all of a sudden you're saying, okay, if you don't have $20,000, or if you don't have $15,000, if you don't have this money that I told you to hold up for, it's over. So I just want somebody to talk about the real talk, you know.
Yeah, well, I think the hope is that folks are watching this, that they will come and support, so that won't be your challenge. But I think as we get into the new year, as Councilmember White talked about, it's going to be right up in front of us, and we are going to have to talk about that, and we are going to have to figure out how people are really going to get the aid that they need, not only small businesses but individuals. So. Okay, you're teasing me now. I
Yes, I'm
gotta
doing
come
that.
shop.
I'm doing that on purpose.
You're
On
teasing me
purpose.
now. I mean, and I'm not a shopper, but I kind of want to come and see what you got over there. So
I got some
I'm going to dial
goodies.
that number. I want everybody. I am going to appeal to everybody that watches this to give Nisi a call, 202-320-9144. Set up a shopping appointment. Tell them you heard it on Win TV. And let's go spend some money so she can make some money.
And let me say this to the audience, to the wonderful Informer family. If you say that you heard or you saw this, ask for your, you know how we do, ask for your discount. Don't be embarrassed. Understand that we need to know where our riches are coming from. We need to know who's supporting us and why. So that's where it helps. Every little bit helps. Don't think that we're very reasonable. My prices are excellent. I have wonderful merchandise. Like I said, you can really see, but I am ready for you each day. I'm doing something different.
I love it.
And this last thing before the producer cut us off, if somebody needs something fun,
Woo! All right.
that's a mask with blinking colors that you can entertain your family with, because we are wearing masks and we're staying home. We're going to get this virus. We're going to take that. We have a lot to consider. We have to heal ourselves, and we got to get these vaccines out here. So, hey.
Thanks a lot, Nisi. And I wish you the best of luck. Have a great holiday. And I guess I have to make my appointment. So I'll call you as soon as I can to make that.
And let's repeat that number.
202-320-9144.
Yes.
All right. I memorized that.
It was nice seeing you, Denise. You know, I love you. I've known you so long, probably 30-something years. Yes.
Yep. It's been, my oldest is 35. So that just goes to show you.
And thank you for your support over the years.
Oh, my pleasure.
Thank you and your mother and your father, all they have done. The Informer name is a big name in the light of many of us. We know what you have done in the city. We know what your parents have done, where our children have gone to schools, where your father used to have the thing where you go to the school, all the kids. So don't start me. All
right, because Sherry get ready to cut. The producer's about to push the button. Wow. But thank you so much. Thanks.
Thank you. Okay.
All righty. Have a good one. You all know Nisi because you've been there, you shopped with her, and if you haven't, you can tell you're going to have a great time. I mean, it's one thing. I mean, people complain about going to stores and people don't ask them for help. When you go into Nisi's boutique, not only do you get help, but you get a great conversation and a lot of fun. So please support Nisi's boutique. 202-320-9144. And so last but not least, I look forward now to bring on Monique Jackson, owner of Ebony Seeds. And before we do that, we have a short video. Monique, welcome to Win TV.
Hi, welcome. Thanks for having me.
That was a great video. I'm really excited. It was I think back. I was a mother of two sons, and when they were little, I was so tired of navy outfits and cowboy suits. I mean, that's all people sew for our little guys. And so here you are now with Ebony Seeds, a nice new business for babies, clothing for babies. So tell us a little bit about you and how you got into this.
Well, my background is actually in fashion. I started right out of college working for a urban brand, and then went on to work for a large retailer and did wholesale. So it's very familiar to me. I took a recent turn and went to a whole new industry, but definitely wanted to do something that I love and enjoy. So once the pandemic kind of hit and I had more free time, I started my process of making Ebony Seeds to be what it is today, and I'm very proud of it.
Now, are you a mom? How did you get inspired to do baby clothes?
I am a mom, but my baby is 11. So it wasn't directly me, but I am a new aunt. My brother had a little girl this year, and it started because I was actually looking for a gift for her, and I wanted something different, something trendy, something refreshing, but I also wanted to buy Black. And I couldn't really find what I was looking for in the marketplace. And then the idea came that, hey, I can do this. I can fill that void pretty easily.
So how would you describe the brand Ebony Seeds when they come to you? What are they going to get?
They are definitely going to get what I feel is trendy, affordable, neutral. All of our items are kind of complementary in color, so it's very unisex friendly, just easy to shop, great quality, so you don't have to be worried about compromising. The fabric is soft. Most of our products is organic and sustainable. So it's affordable, it's cute, and you can be proud to buy Black.
And not only that, but I noticed the colors there, again, going back, pink for girls, blue for boys. So if you wanted to go somewhere kind of non-traditional, it was really hard. I see a lot of earth tones behind you. Was that intentional?
It definitely was intentional. I wanted something that I felt would be complementary to every skin complexion. I wanted something to kind of like resonate to who I am, and just simple, and just being able to be flexible. Like I said, it's very gender neutral, so you don't have to be so stuck on pink for girls and blue for boys. We all look good in brown and white, and that is okay to do something different and refreshing.
And I think one of the things that we found is even some men look really good in pink. And I'm wearing a little blue. So, how can people get your products? Is it just online, and how's that work?
Yeah, so I'm an online only boutique. So you can go to ebonyseeds.com. I also have social media. So you can find me on Facebook and Instagram at Ebony Seeds Co. But yeah, so it's easy, shop. We have the inventory in stock, and I can get it to you right away.
So we're going to be working on a story soon, because we're kind of predicting that in addition to, while we hear that divorces and separations and stuff may be up as a result of COVID, we kind of think that we may end up with a baby boom in the next month or two. Maybe whether that's true or not, and it's an opportunity. And how has COVID impacted your business?
Oh, absolutely. So I definitely, based on like my social media, the mothers and that I'm being able to connect with. I do not see any shortages of babies anytime soon. I think people are realizing what matters most, taking the time to spend more time with their family or possibly even growing their family at this opportunity, because you don't have some of the societal norms where you're just kind of running around. Overall, we launched on August 3rd, so I'm going into like my 5th month of business. The support has been amazing. I'm very satisfied, and we will be here for 2021, and I'm excited about the future and the new things that I will be able to bring.
What are we looking forward to in 2021?
Some new collections. So right now my best-selling collection is called Beautiful. The products actually have a saying on the items. My black is beautiful. So I have a swaddle set. So it comes with like a little cocoon and a matching hat. It's really cute. So that's my #1 product. We'll be able to expand that collection. And then I'm also trying to work on finding nonprofits to actually be able to give back to the community. I want this to be something that we're partnering locally here with BC, because we've got a lot of support from the DMV, and I want to be able to give back.
And so that answers that question, because we with digital, I mean, I could be talking to you and you could be in San Diego or Oakland or someplace, but you're right here in the neighborhood in DC.
Yes, ma'am. Ward 4.
Fantastic. And one other thing, just technical with regards to baby clothes, how do they sell them now? Is it still like, by months or pounds, or, I mean, what's happened differently in the baby fashion industry?
Normally it is still pretty standard. It's by month. Most of the time I suggest, if you're giving it as a gift, probably buy a month up. A lot of my product is being sold as gifts for new moms and new baby arrivals. So, but it's pretty true to size. Standard, newborn to 0 to 3, and then we go. Some styles we go up to like 24 months.
So that's where the from 0 to 24 months and anywhere in between, folks can. Are you thinking about expanding your line at any point?
So right now we carry apparel. We have some gift items, including like teethers and silicone bibs and cloth bibs. I do plan on expanding into more apparel and additional gift items, and maybe some home decor in 2021.
Fantastic. Well, it sounds really great. I'm gonna go now find somebody that's having a baby so I can buy a gift.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think it's we especially, I know one family had a set of twins last year. So, but so you may be hearing from me too, Monique. Yeah, because I think it's fantastic what you're doing. And that's one thing that's been really exciting me this holiday season, because I'm on a mission. I'm on to either buy made by Black or purchased from a Black-owned store. So, and it's been a lot of fun.
It is. It's really surprising and refreshing what you can find out there on social media as well as Etsy. I was very surprised when I started this. I was like, oh, it's nothing out there. And now I'm into it and seeing it on social media, and it's a lot available. So definitely #BuyBlack on social media or Black on Business, and then you will be able to find some other companies to support.
Fantastic. Well, I wish you great success this holiday season. I want you to be so busy that you won't have time to do any more interviews, because you got to fill up those boxes. Do you do any gift wrapping or anything, or how does that work?
Yeah, so my packaging is very important to me. Everything is individually wrapped, like tissue paper. We have stickers. We do offer some gift items. So I am able to take personal requests on, if you want a special little note or something in there, we do it all. So do not hesitate to email us at customerservice@ebonyseeds.com, and I will try to fill all your requests.
Wonderful, fantastic. Well, I wish you, again, much success. Have a great holiday season, and we'll talk to you on the other side.
All right.
All
Thank you.
righty. Okie doke. So I'm telling you all, if I can reach this, sorry. Last week we had, who was it? Black Paper Party? Black Paper Party. And that was last Friday, right? And then what I tell you all, I was going to order some paper. Well, I got my paper from oops, let me put it the other way. Yeah, from Black Paper Party, I got this. We got, Sherry, can you push this over? Because I know we're almost off. I just want to let you know that when Black folks say they're going to start a business and they're going to provide you with great service, I got this. It only took me, a couple of days? I ordered this. Now I have to buy some gifts so I can wrap it. But I got my wrapping paper from Black Paper Party. So I want you all to check them out. Thank you. And make sure that you do support these businesses. We do provide quality service. We do care about what we sell you, and want to make sure that you're going to come back. So today, we're so glad that we have Nisi with us, and we're so glad that we have Monique, Nisi from Nisi's Boutique and Monique from Ebony Seeds. We're looking for some more folks to have on the show next week. So if you have something unique, or you just, people looking for food. So a caterer out there, even though we've done caterers, right, Chevy? Chefs and caterers, but we want to hear from you as well. So bakers? Oh, that's a good one, I guess. But anyway, I'm not a sweet eater, but no, most of us are. And so, yeah, we're looking for some great bakers. Some people are doing some wonderful things for the holidays. So with that, we're over time. I want to thank you all for hanging in here with us for the last overtime, or at least for the past hour. Please, as I said, support Black-owned businesses, support small businesses, support the Washington Informer. And we will see you this time next week. Have a great weekend. Be safe. Keep your mask on, and lastly, thank you, us helping us. I appreciate that. So long.